In this video, we're going to look at adjusting your grids, right? The grids are the latitude and longitude that you can set up, that I've set up in the templates, and that you can add to your layouts, similar to the latitude and longitude in the sectional charts that we learned about when we took the Part 107 exam, if you did that. But you can see them here, right? We've got 71 degrees 30 minutes and 41 degrees 30 minutes. This is great, right? But if I scroll around, you'll notice that they move, right? And if I happen to be at this level, I don't see any of them, right? Or if I zoom in here, or if I zoom out, this is great. I've got looks great. It's what we see on our sectional charts. That's kind of the default what it's set at. So depending on where you're at, you may or may not see them. They may be off the chart, or maybe you just see one of them, right? What we need to do is just set them to show more of them. Okay, so in order to do that, go with your select move item. We're selecting our main map, and then you go down to this grid here, and in your templates it's called grid 1. That's the default, and hit modify grid. And what we have here is, the coordinate system is set to latitude and longitude, which is what we want. And we have it set for half a degree or 30 minutes, which is what the sectional charts show, right? Which is nice. So we have the 70, 30. Now we can dial that in more. Like say I want to show more lines because I'm zoomed in pretty far, and I can't really. Let's say I'm at 1 to 100,000 here. I can't really see any of them. If I showed more lines, that would work. So I'm going to go into this interval, and you get this big long number here of the X and the Y. Don't get confused with the offset. Use the interval. And if I make this number, 0.1, which is smaller, now I'm starting to see more of these, right? If I kind of zoom in on that and look at it, it's 41, 48 degrees. I've got 71, 24 degrees, and it's every 10th of a degree is what it's showing. If I want to make 10 times more lines, I'm going to add a 0 in there, and and give it that, right? That's too many, right? But you can it's kind of trial and error for me. That's how I usually do it. Just kind of use 1s and 5s a lot, and I'm going to make that 5. And it's a little intuitive. The smaller the number is, the more lines you're going to get, right? So it's a little bit backwards, but this looks a little bit better, right? I could say I try to keep it to 1s and 5 because the gives me nice round numbers on my grid. But now we've got 41, 48, 41, 51. So that might be a little more appropriate to kind of show where you're at, right? And note that as you move, sometimes you'll get them right on the edge. I don't really like this corner here. I may adjust it, just maybe adjust my map a little bit if I can, or zoom out or zoom in a little bit. I might make it, I could even make it, 0.55s, something like that. See, that'll adjust it a little bit, but it gives you kind of odd units to deal with, so that people might, so it's kind of a trade-off. You kind of have to play with this a little bit depending on where your project is located and the scale that you are at. Adjust that grid to match. But that's really kind of the main way to do it, is go into these intervals and change these as necessary, right? You can also, you can change the font, you can change the thickness, a lot of other cartographic things you can do. I've got the lines here going across, but you can change it to crosses or dots, or no latitude longitude lines at all. You can change the font. You can pop it on the inside. See, now this is on the outside of the frame. Show it in different ways. More advanced stuff. I don't, if you've got this template, I think you can stick here, but just realize you can play around with this a little bit if you're interested. You can do that. change the font, change the color, whatever you want to do, you can do. But or just leave it alone, use the template that we've got, and go from there. So that's it. That's how you adjust your grid.